Hi, everybody, and welcome back. We are here with another amazing transformation. Matthew has done an awesome job with his health to help as many people as possible get to remission with their conditions. We need to spread our message far and wide. To do so, we need to get this message out. How you can help is click the like button on this video and subscribe, and it helps more than you know so that we can help more people. Okay, Matthew, it is wonderful having you here. Tell us, so you've been in the Unlocked program, and you're almost towards the end of the program. So tell me a little bit about what was going on with you before you came to Unlocked.
Well, yeah, thanks, Courtney. So before I joined Unlocked, I would say I was in middle age, let's put it that way, and feeling a little run down, not really having the energy that I would associate with myself. And, in our house, we had a visitor, someone who was a similar age as my wife and myself, and they were up every morning taking advantage of everything that we have to offer in the location where we live. And it just inspired us that something was wrong, or we were living a life that wasn't quite as full as maybe we thought it was, and as full as it could be. So what I noticed about myself is definitely a certain lack of energy, some lethargy, both in my personal life and in my professional life. And I had a handful of health issues, fairly typical. I have a thyroid condition. I had been diagnosed with a high blood pressure, and I was obese, very overweight.
And I think from our first intake, we had talked about elevated cholesterol and some dermatitis stuff.
That's right. Yes, I'd almost forgotten about that.
And then we also talked about seasonal allergies and gout. Yeah, so we
Yes.
talked about a host of things. So here's what I want to know. Before you started, because I know you and your wife do this together, she kind of drug you along, right? Like you weren't like, this was not your idea. So as you were embarking on this journey, what were things that you like before pulling the trigger to decide to do it? What were your fears, worries, concerns?
I think the biggest concern was, this would be some kind of fad, eat only a very limited food, or consume, artificial products, because I've certainly gone through a few of those diets before in my time. So I think the big concern was, oh, okay, here we go again. We're going to do something. Maybe it'll have a short-term benefit, but more than likely it's just going to lighten our wallet more than it lightens, my wife and myself. That was something that was very quickly put to rest after working with you, Courtney. It's very quickly learned that it was a whole food based program, and that some of those initial concerns very much were laid to rest very, very, very quickly.
That's good. And then you had, much like myself, been on and off a yo-yo health cycle because you had lost weight a handful of times before. What was kind of your yo-yo cycle like?
It's probably very typical to many people. I would start a program. I'm very good at starting programs and following them to the T for at least a short while. So what I would see is that weight would come off. My overall health didn't really change, but the weight would come off. I would hit a goal, and then slowly but surely that goal would recede, and I just basically fall back into the same old patterns and do the same old things. And that was the story of pretty much every diet I had before this one.
Yeah. Okay. So since being on Unlocked, second, we're going to talk about what's happened for your health. First, I want you to talk about, so you just explained what happened with all the other programs. What has been different about this program that's making it last and stick and making this something sustainable that you'll be able to keep, that you know you'll be able to keep?
Mhm. Yeah, I think the first and probably the priority thing is obviously eating the right foods as opposed to just reducing the amount or the number of calories or whatever. So, we identified together that certain foods should be removed from my diet, gluten being the prime example. And I think doing that has had a whole host of benefits for me, not, beyond just the weight loss, but by removing those things that were obviously triggers for me or that had an effect on me, it's made this process a lot easier. At this point in time, roughly I'm at the weight that was always my target weight before. So I was at the point where normally in those other diets, I would be stopping and starting that long process to bounce back. But given where I am now, I still feel that there is more to go because, I'm not focused on the weight loss specifically. I'm focused on me and my health and the health of my family. And so, there's much more to it than just the weight loss. And I think the key thing for me has been that change in mental attitude, that this is not just losing a set number of pounds by restricting calories. This is changing the way that I live. There are things I do now as part of this program that I, quite frankly, would never have occurred to me before. But they're effective, and they're effective at changing my attitude towards my own health.
Mhm. So are you talking about the tools that we use in the modules to help you change your mindset? Is that what I'm just
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, exactly. So, affirmations. That's a surprise. That if you had told me a year ago I was writing affirmations every day, that would have been a shocker. But it's effective. It works. It helps me. Um, Setting myself goals that are attainable, but for which I am held accountable. That is very, very effective for me. So yes, the tools and techniques that have been provided as part of this program are are the reason why I am able to hit this weight now, and like I said, still feel like there is more I can do to improve my health and, as a benefit, lose more weight.
Yeah. How much have you lost so far?
It's around about 45 pounds so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
I'm really proud.
you hit your original goal weight and we're going to keep going for more. So,
Absolutely.
tell me a little bit about the things that have improved in your health.
Well, the most noticeable one, I mean, you brought up the gout there. That was one of the triggers. You say my wife actually proposed the program to me. I had just suffered my first ever attack of gout, and that was an eye opener, something very shocking to me. So I was in a great place to start something based upon that experience. And so what I found is I haven't had any more attacks. I don't feel those pains anymore, and the the spongy aching feeling I had in some of my joints that I hadn't that had become background noise that I just associated and expected to have at this point in my life. Those have gone away. I mean, I don't have problems with my knees, my ankles, my toes, my fingers, anything anymore. All my joints feel like I remember them feeling from a long time ago. So I would say, that's the first and most noticeable change for me. The second and probably more clinical one is, I did have elevated blood pressure. Um, about halfway through this program, I conferred with my cardiologist, and we cut my dose of my blood pressure medication because through the weight loss and through the other parts of the program, I didn't need as much medication as I have been on, and hopefully that'll be gone entirely soon, and
Mhm.
then hopefully as well the thyroid medication we can make a real crack at.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So you haven't had any gout attacks. and they've
No.
already been able to cut your blood pressure medication in half. And we're working on getting your body
Yes.
to a place where your blood pressure works properly on its own. And your thyroid. So here's something interesting about Matthew's thyroid. He had hypothyroidism that he knew about. But for anybody listening to this, if you have hypothyroidism, 90% of hypothyroidism cases are autoimmune in nature, meaning your immune system is attacking your thyroid. And so most conventional doctors don't run labs for that because it doesn't change the course of treatment. Their course of treatment is to give T4, Synthroid, some Armor, some sort of thyroid hormone. That sort of dampens the symptoms, but it doesn't stop the problem. So when somebody has hypothyroid in an autoimmune nature, every time they eat offending foods that get out into the bloodstream, the immune system attacks those foods, and it also attacks your thyroid. So if you have autoimmune thyroid and you eat gluten, the protein in gluten is called gliadin, and that looks exactly like thyroid tissue. So every time somebody with hypothyroid autoimmune eats gluten, their body attacks the gluten and also destroys the thyroid. That's why over years you're taking your medication and you're like, but I'm tired and I can't lose weight and I don't feel great and my head is foggy, because the T4 is not actually fixing the problem. So we're just going to step into a protocol soon for Matthew to work on sealing the gut lining. But the first thing he did was remove the offending food, which gave him energy and more mental clarity. So tell us about your energy and motivation and clarity, things like that.
Well, it's night and day. I'm When it comes to things like energy and clarity, I mean, I'm in a place that I don't even recognize anymore, or I recognize from my youth rather than my adulthood, which scares me to think how long I was living a certain way, um, both professionally and personally. I feel like I'm a lot more attuned to what's going on and getting the things done that I need to get done. I've always been a procrastinator and someone who puts off if he can. And with the clarity that I have now, I'm getting through both, things I have to do for work and things I have to do at home a lot quicker and with less procrastination than ever. And as for energy, I mean, even something like this, I wouldn't have been doing this 6 months ago. I walk every day. We make plans to go on trips. We, as a family, we do things. My wife and I, we do things when, our children are older. So when they're not around, we're doing things as well. And we're making plans for ourselves as opposed to just living each day as it comes.
Yeah, so your motivation comes. A lot of people just feel stuck and they're watching TV and Netflix, and they don't actually realize that a lot of the malaise they feel is inflammation in the brain. But they just think this is what Tuesday feels like. This is what Courtney and Matt feel like, right? But once you get the inflammation off of your brain, you're motivated and you start planning trips and going places and going after new things for work. And all of that's from bringing your body into balance. So you had dermatitis. How is that now?
That's actually been great. I mean, I've only had one flare up since starting the program, and I think that was self-inflicted. I think I had some food while traveling for work that probably had something in it that wasn't listed. And so that triggered an attack. But other than that, I haven't had any issues, no rashes, no itching, scratching, whatever. I mean, that's just something that the absence of that now makes the rare times it happens, I notice it a lot more, So if I eat something that has an unknown provenance, I can tell now because I've got used to having clearer skin and no outbreaks.
Yeah. How long did you have dermatitis?
I'd say on and off for probably 10 years, something that came later. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And then something that you didn't even come to me to work on was your seasonal allergies. And how are they doing?
well, again, by their absence is how I'm even thinking about them. I mean, normally each summer I would succumb to allergies and have to take something for them. I don't recall taking anything at all this allergy season, so it's just been a case of no problem, really.
I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing. Did you have any idea that you could get your body to a state that you could repair things in your body where symptoms and problems that you had had for 10 plus years would go away and you could lower medication? Did you even know that that was possible?
No, absolutely not. The best I was hoping for was to, keep the status quo, and yeah, certainly not reverse anything. That didn't even occur to me that that was feasible. And that's just incredible. Even now, that's incredible.
Yeah, the human body has an innate healing capacity. And when we remove the toxins, chemicals, and foods that are irritating our body will come into balance. And for as good as you feel now, Matthew, your body will continue to get better. I know that. So through program, we have group calls, we have buddies, we do modules. How imperative do you think that part is? Because anybody can follow a nutritional protocol, right? So like I was given nutritional protocols, but I had trouble sticking to them long term. How important do you think the modules and the tools, buddies, food journal, key card have been to actually being able to implement your functional nutrition plan?
Mhm. Well, I think they're essential, and I think that is the key differentiator between this and maybe some other plans I've done prior to this. It sounds like much like yourself. I have no problem following a diet. Just use those terms, like I had before. It's but that was never a setup for long-term success for me. The key cards keeping me focused on what's important for the week have been critical. They've made the most difference initially because they made it very easy to commit to something, and along with my buddies to be held somewhat accountable for that. Right? It's as soon as you start sharing your goals and what you're trying to do in a certain week, not only does it break it up into manageable pieces, but it gives you a way to stay accountable, right? Because someone is there who's not going to chastise you or say anything bad, but I've made a commitment to this person that I'm going to try and do this for this week. So instead of trying, I do, and I know they feel the same way. It's like I still never met these gentlemen that I'm working with, but I feel like we know each other now. And again, if you knew me a year ago, that would not be something that's coming out of my mouth, that I would be talking about my health with buddies, other than in real life people who've known me a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you told me once how beneficial the journal has been for you, the food journal.
Yes. So, again, I'm a data guy. If I can write it down, it helps me not only to see that through you set me certain goals to reach within each day, right, for fats, for carbs, and for calories overall. So not only does it help me to keep within those targets, but and especially at the beginning, it gave me a way to actually visualize again what I was eating, as opposed to what I thought or told myself I was eating. So tracking, journaling, both for food and for my mental health, and writing affirmations down. Things like, again, all things that I wasn't doing before. That whole is, I think, what's keeping me on the program successfully, right? Because it is an intrinsic part of the process, and yeah, I can't say too much about it.
Yeah.
Just great.
So, yeah, thank you. So I only have two more questions. One is, if we put Matthew in a time machine and we went back 3 years ago,
Mhm.
what would you tell him knowing what you know now?
Oh, start now. You know, we can head off certain health issues that are coming your way in a couple of years, Matthew. You're not going to like them. So let's set them off now, and you get 3 more years of doing great things with your family that maybe you weren't doing before, right? Instead of just living day by day, we could have been doing so much more.
Yeah. And then the very last question I have for you is, after have been on the yo-yo health cycle many times and now seeing, okay, I can put conditions in remission, I trust myself a bit more. And you can answer this totally honestly. Do you feel comfortable that this time is different? That you really have a set of tools that you and your family now can stay healthy for the rest of your lives?
I think honestly, I can say yes. I mean, it's different. It's at this point, even if we would leave the program now, I would still take all these learnings and tools with me going forward. They've taught me the right kinds of foods I should be eating. They've taught me to recognize when I am about to head off in a wrong direction, either because I've inadvertently eaten something or I'm not following up on my tools. It's a set of when you go bowling, those bumper rails that comes up when you're learning, right, that help you to stay on the path that you want to be on. I think that's the easiest way I can explain it to myself. It does make a difference. It does feel different because it's not like I've reached my goal and with weight, and that's the only thing that's important. As you and I have discussed, I've got other goals, and I'm working on those through the program as well now. So my health keeps improving, my weight keeps dropping. I'm working on me as in a broader sense, and yeah, those are all things that never happened on any other program I've been on.
Yeah, thank you so much. And what Matthew was just talking about is on your one-on-one calls, we also talk about expanding your life. And so Matthew and I are working on taking him to the next level of his life and his career. I want to thank you so much for your time today and let you know I'm crazy proud of you. And I'm excited to watch your body continue to get healthier, continue to get smaller, and watch your career continue to get bigger. So,
Thank you, Courtney.
yeah.